guys, Daniel here again, coming at you with yet another video through God's grace. Today, as I'm sure you can tell by either the thumbnail or by the title, we're talking about why I didn't choose a certain ATM location. But before we get into that, please guys, shoot me a like, shoot me a subscribe. I'm putting up a lot of content this next few months. So if you want to keep updated, make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any videos. But getting into the meat of the video today, this certain location was, I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but it was like an outdoor mall location. So it was corporate, so there was a lot of red tape to go through. It took months and months to like even get to the point where I decided to not go with it. But it was a lot of negotiations. There was a lot of waiting for the other ATM to be removed, blah, 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 blah. And at first, it sounded like a pretty great idea. I was really stoked on it. I was really excited about it. And after getting like farther and farther into what the fine details were in the fine print, it started looking a little less and less enticing. So first of all, it's a mall location, so it's not like most of the vendors around there are cash only. In fact, none of them were. They're just regular mall locations like Forever 21, H&M, blah, 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 you know, those type of things. But however, this one was cool because it has a street that flew right through it. It was like an outdoor mall. So on the street that went right in the middle of it, they had vendors, like, you know, small business owner vendors that would come a few times a month. They would come every Tuesday and every other Friday. So that's 6 times a month that there's vendors out there. Well, I did my research and I went out there, and on one of the Fridays, a lot of the vendors did prefer cash only, and they didn't take any card, but they would take Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, those type of things. But on the Tuesday one, which is every Tuesday, every single vendor took card, every single one. So that was kind of like a letdown. I was hoping they would be cash only, or at least cash preferred, or at the very bottom line, not even take card at all. But they did. So that was like a big playing factor in why I decided not to go with this. But I guess the biggest reason why I decided to not go with it, and I encourage you guys to do your research, take your time if you can, and really weigh the pros and cons of certain ATM locations. Some of them might be great if you find a location that's gonna let you not pay them anything, so not give them any split share, and they know that you own the machine so you can take it out whenever you want. There's not a whole lot of pushback on. There's not a whole lot of cons, because if it's a bad location, just take it out. It's not that big of a deal. But this location wanted me to sign, number one, a 1 year lease, 12-month lease, and I had to pay them a flat rent of $350 a month. No non-negotiable. It was flat rate of $350. So if I made $349, I lost money that month. And so I don't even start making money, I don't even start making any income until $350. And that's, depending on how you look at it, kind of a lot of money to be made from one single location. I know some locations make 50 withdrawals a month, which equates to like not very much money. And some locations make 250 to 300 withdrawals, which would be a lot of money. And if that was the case, then this location would totally be worth it. But there was a few problems. I tried, the way that I could have seen it working out for me is one of two ways. Either the manager or the curator of all of the vendors there would consider sharing with me the numbers of the previous ATM owner, meaning like how many withdrawals they got, what their surcharge was, stuff like that. Then it would have helped me make a much more informed decision on me moving forward, and it would have helped my risk factor. But he wasn't willing to do that. He said that information was private. They're a private company. There's not much I could do about that. And then the other option that I was giving him was for us to sign an agreement that I would pay them a certain set amount per surcharge up to $350. So I would guarantee myself that I wouldn't be paying more than $350, which is the flat rate rent that they were asking for. But it would also make it so that if I didn't make any money, then I wouldn't have to pay out any money. So if I made 10 transactions that month, which is possible, which is really bad, then I would be losing a lot of money. So after doing, you have to add up all the numbers. Like I said, this was an outdoor mall location, so I would also have to buy an outdoor enclosure. Now I don't have to buy an outdoor enclosure, that is up to me, but we're talking about it being outdoors. There's a lot of things that could happen. Theft is obviously a big one, and so are the elements. These ATMs are not weatherproof, they're not sealed, so if it rains, your ATM is getting thrashed. It's not gonna work the next day. Now it did have some covering up top, but it's just not safe to put an investment like that in harm's way, and in a way, like, you can't control when it rains, you can't control when water falls from the sky, so you have no control over it. So here's doing some of the math and how I got to my conclusion. The ATM itself costs $2,400. The modem that goes inside is another $150. The outdoor enclosure is $1,500. So we're already at about $4,000 money out of pocket. Before I even make a dime, I have to make $4,000. So we're at $4,000. Now, if I'm paying them $350 a month in rent for 1 year, I think that comes out to like $4,200. Let's just say $4,000. Actually, let's say $4,200, because there was one more thing. This place required me to have renter's insurance as well, so that was another part of the agreement. I wasn't that worried about it. Renter's insurance, or just insurance for the business in general, it's not renter's insurance, but the insurance for the business was only going to be like $130 a year, so it wasn't like a whole lot. But after adding up all of that, we're talking about almost, let's just say $8,500, almost $8,500 before I even make a dime, which means throughout a year I have to make $8,500 as a starting point before I even make my first dollar of income. That was like my biggest setback, because look, an amazing location, my best location right now, does do between $900 and $1,000 a month. That's like, it's like a spectacular location. But that's like overwhelmingly like light years past what I would think it was gonna do, which means that this mall location would have to do the same. Now, even at its best, which would be that, in my opinion, $1,000 a month, even at its absolute best, it was gonna take me 8.5 months, 9 months to even start making a dollar. This is a year lease, so if it took me 9 months to make a dollar, that means there's only 3 months left to make any money. And that would be like at absolute best. Like, this place was 50 times better than I ever imagined it would be. And it would have to blow all my expectations out of the water for it to do that, which means at worst, it would take me more than the year lease. I would be losing money for 1.5 years, 2 years before I even made a dollar, and it just didn't make sense to me when I could take this time to find a location, even if it was a bad location, like that nail salon that I had. Even if it was like a really bad location where it was only making like 30 withdrawals a month, I'm able to take it out of there whenever I want. Now, at this mall location, I could take it out of there whenever I want. Now, I had to give them a 30-day notice. It's either 30 or 60-day notice before I could take my own machine out of there. But that was an option. But remember, I'm in a lease, so it's just like renting an apartment. You can leave whenever you want. You can move out, you can move to another country, but you still owe them that money for the rest of the lease. So I'm 100% signing up to paying $350 a month for 12 months. That's it. Once you sign that, regardless of what happens, they don't care what happens. If you make no money, if you lost your business, if your grandma dies, you owe them that money. So after doing all that math, it just didn't add up. Like, it didn't seem, you have to weigh the risks and the rewards, and the reward just didn't seem to pan out. I mean, like I said, at absolute best, 9 months, I was gonna make my money back. And now I can start making money. Now, in that scenario, I would probably have just signed another year lease, So okay, that 9 months is gone, and now then the remaining 3 months. Now we just signed a new lease. Cool. Now I'm making money, but like I said, that's like spectacularly other galaxy best case world scenario, and I just didn't think that was. I just wasn't gonna bet that was gonna happen. So as much as I didn't really want to do it, it sounded like a great location. This guy was telling me there were other people in line. Like, he wasn't worried about. I'm sure that's why he was not willing to negotiate with like the pay structure and stuff like that. It's because there was other people already lined up to take this location and were happy to sign a year lease at $303 a month in rent. But you know, I'm just a business owner. I'm trying to take the least amount of risk as I can. I do want to take risks because you do get more reward with risk, but it has to be a calculated risk. And I did the calculations and it just didn't seem to make good sense for me. So I encourage you to take my experience and not just go into any location that comes your way, especially if you have to sign up some type of time-committed process, a time-committed contract. It has to pan out in your favor. The numbers have to make sense to you, and just do your research. Don't be stupid about it. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.